Next question comes from Tafiya, a long-time supporter. I think he was maybe even the first or one of the first supporters on Patreon. Always, I love this guy. He's a guy that we always have random conversations. We go in deep on whatever it is, and he's a really inspiring guy, both on the dance floor and just in life and perspectives and things like that. So shout out to Tafiya. And actually, this question, he asked this last month, but I missed it somehow, and so we're gonna get around to it right now. And he says, yes, do you think practicing and engaging with others in sessions has changed since you started? Yeah, definitely. I think these days, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but these days I'm a little more hesitant in some ways about who I practice with and who I can vibe with. And maybe it's just a confidence thing for me personally of my skill level is starting to go down. And I personally feel like I'm just losing things or getting worse, so I'm less inclined to put myself out there and show people stuff. Ironically, I'm doing a YouTube channel now, but that's besides the point. But yeah, it's I'm a little more selective of who I practice with, who I want to vibe with in a circle, and that kind of thing. It's very, a little more selective. But at the same time, I still like meeting new people and just connecting with people. So that kind of thing, I think it's this, kind of weird balance that I still enjoy that aspect of things. But yeah, in general, I think I've become a little more reclusive in some senses. But maybe we all have in this strange time. And the second question that he asked is, for the future, as you gain more experience, how do you position yourself in the community? Well, one of the things that I've thought a lot about, and especially that I'm getting older and you get injuries and you start to kind of think about, how long can your body keep up with this? And I look at if you look at any sport or just anything really, whatever, but sport is really relevant because dance is so physical. Or if you look at the performance side of things, like doing theater shows and stuff like that, your body can only keep up for so long, and eventually you have to start to find different roles if you want to continue in this industry or whatever. So if you're doing say Hollywood stuff, people become agents, or they get into other things that are less physical, and maybe people get into directing, or maybe they become a choreographer where they don't have to dance as much, and so they just kind of demonstrate it and that's it, and it's a little easier on their body, stuff like that. Or say in sports, people become coaches, they become analysts, they become commentators. That's a thing that I think breaking is severely lacking. If you want competitions and things like that to grow, getting it broadcast to as broad an audience as possible, and then having people who can break stuff down simply and effectively, so that the general public can understand it and kind of start to get what this whole thing is about. You need those people. And so especially with this podcast thing, I'm starting to learn about what are some good ways to communicate these things, or get into how can you appeal. It's not even about appealing or dumbing things down for the general audience, but it's it's more about building community and learning how to like create larger and larger rings, I guess, and including more and more people in this thing, and then, you know, they can go further and further into that the deeper they want to go. But like if you look at any of these things, like basketball or hockey or whatever, most of the people watching these things don't play, or they play very casually. Some people have never played, but they just like being a part of it, and it's fun to watch, and they know the rules kind of, and it's like their hometown team and whatever. It's like people like to pick sides and that kind of thing. But yeah, like there's so much potential, but it's just like general public's, like, there's a very clear, you're inside the community or you're outside, and breaking does, in my opinion, a horrible job of including people. And there's one book that I recommend that everyone checks out. It's called The Art of Community, and it basically talks about these kinds of things, about if you want people to join this community, if you want to grow the community, you have to give them opportunities to participate in some ways and feel like they're a part of it. But the way that a lot of breaking jams are set up, at least the local ones, is like you have dancers and it's very catered towards the dancers. There's no explanations at all about what the culture is, why these people won, why they didn't win, what are the judges looking for, and this kind of stuff. And even people's like explanations are very surface level. I'm looking for originality, I'm looking for execution and this kind of stuff, I'm looking for battle attitude or whatever. And like that doesn't tell someone anything, like especially say beginners or whatever, like, or the general audience, like they're like, what's battle attitude, what's a battle, I don't even know, why do you call it a battle, this kind of stuff, whatever. And I think the best people, the people that did the best job at this were one is like Vancouver Street Dance Festival, with just their welcoming atmosphere, and getting people to just like remember that dance is like something simple and it's fun, and that's it. You don't have to do any of these high flying whatever spins and all this whatever backflips and stuff like that. That doesn't matter. If you can step, you don't even have to step. If you can move in any sense, whether it's like your head, even if you're in like a wheelchair and you can't move your arms and legs, like can you move your head, can you move your eyes, can you move your mouth, like you can still enjoy it and you can still interact with it. Like that's it. And so, you know, they do a great job of that. And then I mentioned this several times now, but like Massive Monkey Day and Joe Rock as a host was amazing in my opinion, of breaking these simple things down to the general public, or giving people opportunities to kind of check out what's going on. A lot of times, and VSDF, Vancouver Street Dance Festival, was guilty of this, that when it's time to take a break, they'll mention things like, all right, we're going to take a cipher break, and people are going to get into some ciphers, so, you know, just chill out, whatever. And it's like people mention ciphers, or they're just like, what is a cipher break? What does this even mean? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? And so I always have this memory that Joe Rock one time, well, probably many times, but I remember one time in particular, and he was mentioning this, that he's like, all right, we're going to take a break, and this is what happens when these dancers have this free time. They do these things called ciphers or circles, and you know, if you've never seen one, go and check it out for a bit. Sit there and watch and see what goes down, because this is a big part of the real essence of breaking and this kind of thing. So check it out. And like, he's encouraging people to go and check it out, but kind of leaving it like a bit of a cliffhanger, like, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but I'm going to pique your interest in this kind of thing. So I think he always did a great job of that, of like trying to bring the general public in.